Good night. Tonight, we want to discuss some things in relation to what to do when you're stuck in a rut, which is a colloquial term which simply means that you're trying to do something and it's not progressing as well as you hope, or that you are trying to achieve something and it seems like the progress of what you're doing isn't going as well as you hope. Now, what you should know before we even get into this quick 5 to 10 minute discussion is that being stuck does not mean that you failed. Let me repeat. Being stuck doesn't mean you failed. There are some things that will happen, and there are some people around you that may not be able to assist you as well with what you're doing. Or you may not be as experienced, or you must also realize that you're imperfect, so you can't do everything as well as it should, so it can reach the next stage. And so you must now look inside yourself and realize that failure is an event. Or as you're moving towards something, as you're progressing to do the next great thing in your life, that you will have points or stages where it's not as good as you would want it to be or as well as you hope. So you must see quickly that the reasoning behind why you're having your issues could be because you're fatigued. It could be because you're burned out. It could be because you have levels of reduced motivation. Or maybe if you're in a team-based organization, or if you're working towards something with a group of people that some of them are not as motivated as you are. You also could be stuck because you feel as if your dreams and the things that you're trying to achieve are unfulfilled. No, none of these things, none of these things mean that all of a sudden you're just here. You're coming from here and you're just here and you can't get to over here. And look at what's happening with my hands. You are here and then you came here and you're here. And how I moved from here to here was by, if you have many questions, please put it in the comments. I was here, then I moved to here. And then I'm here. So how do I get to it? How I got from here to here, which is by movement. And so there's this proverb or this adage that says, you're trying to get somewhere or progress or achieve something, and it's not happening for you. Then change something. You are not a tree. You're not like stuck in one place. And even a tree, as it's trying to grow, what you can't see is that underneath, roots are being embedded into the soil and spreading, and then leaves and branches start to grow towards the sun. And as more nutrients and water and other things are added to the environment, then it is that it starts to produce more leaves and branches and flowers and fruit if it is a fruit-bearing tree. So you come out of stasis or a feeling of being stuck somewhere with movement. And movement doesn't begin in the body as you would want to presume, or where your physical vessel is. Movement begins deep down in the area that is connected to God, which is your spirit. And then it starts to impact the area called your soul. which in men has a mind, a will, ambitions, and desires. And you now have to connect those things to and cause your hands to move, and cause your feet to move, and cause your eyes to move, and cause your brain to fire and get some ideas and imagination again, and cause you to be motivated again, and cause you to want to jump and do some things great again, and cause you to realize that if you're fatigued, that could simply mean that you're maybe having some health issue that you could need to check on. There is actually a term called adrenal fatigue that could be happening with you. You could be going through stage of an emotional or what they call a mood disorder. You could be having issues with depression or anxiety. You could be having issues where you are bogged down in your physical health, maybe have some sort of disorder or condition that is causing you not to function at the optimal level that you could be. And we love to worry or concern ourselves about our physical health, not realizing that it is always connected, as I said, spirit, soul, and body. So all the other facets of us, our mental, emotional, and spiritual health are all connected to make our physical health well. And so when we connect to people who can then help us in those things and improve it, then maybe that is where the change will happen for us, and then we will come out of this state of feeling stuck. But maybe it is that you're actually not working on your mental health properly, which means you're drinking and hydrating yourself properly. When I say drinking, I mean drinking water. That you're eating well. Some people, when they're working on projects, sometimes don't eat well, or just don't eat well, period, because they develop bad habits when they were younger. And when I say eat well, I mean that you don't just eat, but the food that you consume is fuel for your body. So if you eat things that are high in saturated fat, high in salt and sugar, high in all sorts of artificial flavors, high in all sorts of things that will cause your arteries to clog up or increase your cholesterol level, or are carcinogenic in nature, over time, then you may have some problems that then may cause problems in your body, that will cause problems in your emotions and your mental state, that will make you feel weird, and then you feel stuck in a rut. Your physical health, let me repeat, is connected to your mental and emotional health. And also note that if you're not exercising and taking consistent rest, then you will have times when you drift off into the netherlands of boredom and unsurety and anxiety and tiredness and not surety. An adult needs 78 hours of sleep, studies have shown, in order that when they go out into the world, that their mind is sharp, that they stay focused, that they develop less levels of anxiety, that their cardiovascular system operates better, and that their abdomen, where all of the microbiome is, the term for this, the flora of the bacteria and other things in your stomach and your intestines. And also how your intestines work during sleep to work on the food that you put in, to then cause the hormonal levels, because where else do the hormones in your body come from but the things that you put in, from the brain and from the other hormones and glands in your body to operate and do what it does, so that then you get the serotonin and the dopamine and the epinephrine and the positive things that cause you to have energy to do what you need to do. But some of you have been doing some wrong things to cause the wrong hormonal output, or you are having issues that you need to get some assistance with or counsel with, or you're around the wrong environment and you still stay in there when you know those people are not good for you. Or you decide that you are going to be the one who going to pull all of the all-nighters, and you don't sleep, and then when your productivity starts to wane, you wonder why, thinking you've been working, 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 but all you've been doing is working yourself to death. So if you're fatigued and burnt out, look at those things. The other thing I mentioned was that you are reduced in motivation, or you're doing things that they don't feel fulfilling. And the simple trick when you are reduced in motivation, as I mentioned earlier, is to get into movement by doing something new. And I don't mean to just drop off all of the things that you're currently doing. Sure, there are some things that will lead to nowhere or have bad consequences, and those you stop and then you change to some things that make some sense. But if you're in a situation where you're working on something, there may be multiple ways to do that thing in a better way, or adapt to make it more effective and fruitful, that you probably need to change to, or get some assistance to get right, to then do it right. If you go to a mechanic and you try a thing with your vehicle, and they're the one who has the certifications or have been experienced enough to see other similar issues, and then go in and tinker around, give you the diagnosis of what's wrong with the vehicle, fix it, and give you back the vehicle. The problem was not with you uh, tinkering around the vehicle. The problem is you tinkered around the vehicle and did it wrong, and the person who knew what to do did it right. So try something new. Similarly, the God of the earth has all of the answers to many of your questions in his word. And many of you are going through situations that if you would Google and say, help me with feeling I am not making progress, or something like that, give me some Bible verses, you will find dozens of them, of people going through similar situations and how they problem solve them way through it and figure out some things. You feel you have uh, an unfulfilled level of your dreams, or your goals are where you need to go, but the majority of times that happens is because either you have a blurred vision of where you are, or your aims or your goals are not specific enough. You didn't set any deadlines to what you were doing. You didn't ask out for some help to reach the place where you need to go, or the help came and you rejected it, or you have no aim at all. And if you have no aim, it is like walking around in the rain. In fact, you walk out and you see the place overcast, and you say, well, yeah, I don't know, I don't know if rain will fall. And you don't take up an umbrella, you don't take up a rain cloak, you don't put on good boots or shoes to walk through the rain if the rain waterlogs the road. And then you walk out into the thing, and the thing starts to wet you, and you say, well, how did this happen? You didn't plan for the thing that you know would happen. And this is how many of you walk around in your lives. You feel exhausted, you feel unsure of yourself, you feel stuck in places that you feel you should have been doing better in. And the reasons could be health related, it could be emotional related, as I mentioned before. It could simply mean that you need some greater motivation in what you're doing. It may mean that you may need to change the environments that you're in, but it could also simply mean that you have not set proper aims and goals to where you want to go. So your spirit and you're connected to your mind and your will, but then you you're not, you just, it's like you shoot. Another analogy I can use apart from the rain one is that you have a gun and you go to the range and you have the targets there, and you think you're going to shoot at the target, but you didn't clean the gun, check it, and also fill it with bullets. You just hold it up and shoot, and there are no bullets in there. And so, what? Who are you aiming at? Or worse, you go to the range and you don't ask the master or the person who is doing the thing to put up the target, to put up the, the things that you're going to aim at. Then how will you reach anywhere? Be specific. Do things that you can measure. Do things that are relevant and relatable to the places and the people that you are. Look to do things that you know you can achieve and set some deadlines, set some time spans around it. Oh, yes, I have a session coming up. When you go to that page, johnnyalcock.com/finish strong, you will see that there's some information there about a goal planning session. Generally, there's a specific presentation, but then whoever is on or the group is that is there, I usually ask specific people and then try to help them specifically with different things that they're working on. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. You don't have to feel unsure of yourself anymore or being fearful and anxious of trying to do something new and not sure how to do it or where you're going. Come out of the confusion that you're in about yourself and your life. You may be a little demotivated. You may be having issues with getting your energy levels back. But please know that you are not stuck. Check out that link there. I'll also put it in the comments and probably in the description somewhere, wherever you're streaming from. I am Johnny Alcock. And please go into your life knowing your possibilities and that you can achieve what you want to achieve. But you have to know that you can, despite your feeling of being stuck. Blessing. Talk to you soon.